She had been watching from that window for 11 years. Every morning when the street woke up, every evening when it went quiet again, every time a police car rolled past without stopping, every time a neighbor looked away when the subject came up at the mailbox. She had seen what she had seen. And for 11 years, she had told herself the same thing every single morning. Not yet. Not safe yet. Her name was Ida Mae Crockett. She was 63 years old. She had lived on Pullman Street in Decatur, Georgia for 31 years. She had raised 3 children in the house with the green door and the cracked front step she kept meaning to fix. She knew every family on that block by name. She knew which dogs barked at strangers and which ones did not. She knew what a normal Tuesday night on Pullman Street sounded like. And on the night of August 19th, 2008, at approximately 11:47 p.m., what she heard from her bedroom window was not normal. She called 911 at 11:52 p.m. She gave them everything: a description, a direction, a partial license plate she had written on the back of an envelope with a pen she kept on the nightstand specifically because her late husband had always told her to be ready. The officer who took her statement the following morning wrote 4 sentences in his notebook. Then he wrote 2 words at the bottom that would define the next 11 years of this case. No witnesses. Ida Mae Crockett read those 2 words in the newspaper 3 weeks later. She sat with them at her kitchen table for a long time. Then she put the envelope in her Bible and closed it. And she waited. There is a particular kind of courage that does not look like courage from the outside. It looks like waiting. It looks like keeping something safe for 11 years because you know the moment is not right and the right moment will come, and you will know it when it does. Ida Mae Crockett had that courage. This story is for everyone who has been sitting on a truth, waiting for the world to be safe enough to hear it. Subscribe and turn on notifications. New case every single day. Because some witnesses need the world to know they were never silent. They were just waiting. Darius Jerome Cole was 29 years old. He had moved to Pullman Street 18 months before he died, into the house 3 doors down from Ida Mae Crockett, which was how she knew his name and his car and the sound of his front door, and the fact that he kept his porch light on until his younger brother Kendall got home safe every night. Darius worked in HVAC, had his own small operation, just him and one other guy, a truck and a reputation for showing up on time and not overcharging people who could not afford to be overcharged. His customers were mostly elderly residents in the neighborhood. He had fixed Ida Mae's air conditioning the previous summer and refused to take full payment. She had argued with him about it. He had smiled and said he would collect next time. There was no next time. He had a son named Jordan, 4 years old, who spent weekends at the house on Pullman Street and called the porch steps his thinking spot. Darius Cole was the kind of man who kept his porch light on for someone else. On the night of August 19th, 2008, the light never came on. Pullman Street in 2008 was the kind of block where people knew more than they said. Not because they did not care, because they understood something about what happened to people on blocks like theirs when they said the wrong thing to the wrong officer at the wrong time. The Decatur Police Department had a complicated relationship with the neighborhoods it served. Between 2005 and 2010, the department closed 63% of homicide cases involving white victims. The closure rate for black victims in that same period was 31%. Those numbers were not published anywhere. A journalism student at Georgia State University would find them 8 years later in a public records request that took 11 months to fulfill. nobody on Pullman Street needed a journalism student to tell them what they already knew. They had lived the numbers.
Darius Cole was found at 12:14 a.m. on August 20th, 2008, by his brother, Kendall, who had come home to find the front door open and the porch light off. Officers arrived at 12:22 a.m. The investigation that followed lasted 19 days. In those 19 days, detectives canvassed Pullman Street twice. They knocked on 14 doors. 7 people answered. Of those 7, 3 said they had heard nothing. 3 said they had been asleep. One said she had seen a car she did not recognize parked near the house earlier that evening, but could not describe it further. The report filed on September 8, 2008, listed the investigation as exhausted. No suspects identified. No witnesses located. No physical evidence connecting any individual to the scene. The case was classified as inactive. Darius Cole's file went into a cabinet. 3 doors down, Ida Mae Crockett read the newspaper article and put an envelope in her Bible. The officer who had taken her statement at 7:30 a.m. on August 20th, 14 hours after she had called 911 with a description, a direction, and a partial plate number, was not one of the detectives who canvassed the street. Her name never appeared in the case file. Not once. In 2011, Kendall Cole filed a formal request with the Decatur Police Department, asking for a full review of his brother's case. He was told the case was inactive and that no new evidence had been submitted to warrant reopening. He asked specifically whether all witness statements from the night of August 19th had been recorded and preserved. He was told yes. He asked for a copy of every witness statement in the file. There were 2. The woman who had seen an unidentified car and the motorist who had called 911 after finding Darius, not Ida Mae, who had called 11 minutes earlier with significantly more detail. Kendall Cole hired an attorney in 2013 named Bernard Okafor, who filed a formal public records request for the complete 911 call log from the night of August 19th into the early morning of August 20th. The log came back in 2014. There it was, 11:52 p.m., Pullman Street. Caller reporting disturbance. Description of individual. Direction of travel. Partial plate provided. Officer dispatched. None. Follow-up? None. The call had been received, logged, and never acted on. The statement taken from the caller the following morning had been filed separately from the case by an administrative error, or something that was called an administrative error. It had never been cross-referenced with the investigation. For 6 years, the only witness who had seen anything on Pullman Street that night had been sitting in a filing cabinet in the wrong drawer from the case she belonged to. Kendall Cole was 24 years old when his brother died. He had been the one who found him. He had spent 6 years becoming the kind of person who could read a public records request and understand what was missing from it. That education had cost him things he did not talk about. Years, relationships, the version of himself that might have existed if he had not been required to become this instead. In 2015, with Bernard Okafor's help, Kendall filed a formal complaint with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, citing the mishandling of the 911 call and the missing witness statement. The GBI reviewed the complaint. They found the administrative error credible and troubling. They referred the case back to the Decatur Department for internal review. The internal review took 14 months. Its conclusion cited the missing statement as a procedural failure and recommended updated protocols for 911 call cross-referencing. No individual officer was disciplined. No case was reopened. Darius Cole's file went back into the cabinet. Then in the spring of 2019, 11 years after she had put an envelope in her Bible, Ida Mae Crockett called Kendall Cole's phone number, which she had found through a community justice organization that had started working the case. She said 7 words. "I have something you need to see." Ida Mae Crockett sat in Kendall Cole's kitchen in March 2019 and told him everything she had seen on the night of August 19th, 2008. The partial plate number on the back of the envelope matched a vehicle registered to a man who had lived 2 neighborhoods over and who had a documented dispute with Darius Cole over a contracted job that had ended badly 6 weeks before Darius died. That information was submitted to the Decatur Police Department in April 2019. The case was formally reopened in June 2019, 11 years after it was closed. As of today, the investigation is active. The person of interest identified through the partial plate has been questioned. No charges have been filed. Kendall Cole checks the case status every month. Jordan Cole is now 17 years old. He never got to know his father as anything other than a photograph, and the stories Kendall tells him on the front steps of the house on Pullman Street, where the porch light still comes on every night. Ida Mae Crockett still lives 3 doors down. She still watches from her window. She is not done watching. The report said no witnesses. It said that on September 8th, 2008, 19 days after Darius Jerome Cole died, on a street where 11 people lived close enough to hear what happened, no one had seen anything. That was not true. One woman had seen everything. She had written it down on the back of an envelope with a pen she kept on her nightstand because her late husband had always told her to be ready. She had called 911 at 11:52 p.m. She had given a full statement the following morning. And then she had watched her words disappear into a filing cabinet in the wrong drawer for 6 years, while the people who were supposed to find them told a family there was nothing to find. Ida Mae Crockett did not come forward 11 years later because she had been silent. She came forward because she had finally found someone safe enough to give the envelope to. That is not a failure of one witness. That is a failure of every system that made Pullman Street the kind of place where a 63-year-old woman had to keep evidence in her Bible for 11 years because she did not trust what would happen if she handed it to the wrong person. Say Darius Cole's name. Share this video so his case reaches the person who has been waiting to hear it. Subscribe and turn on notifications because we post a new case every single day. Because no witness should ever have to wait 11 years to feel safe enough to tell the truth. And no family should spend 11 years being told there was nothing to find. Black struggles, cold case files. The truth doesn't stay cold forever.